Hey there everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Rama, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Grand Theft Auto 6 map. I know, you've probably seen 8 billion videos on the leaked GTA 6 screenshots and everything else, but today, we're actually going to be talking about these screenshots, where they fit into the overall map of GTA 6, and you'll be seeing some stuff that you haven't seen anywhere else. So with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you want to see more content like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. With that being said, let's get straight into it. So this here is the GTA 5 map. And obviously we have Los Santos here, a big old city. Then we arrive to, Paleto Bay, all the way off in the distance over here. We've got Sandy Shores in the middle, and then we have Grapeseed off in the corner. We really only have one city. I don't count Sandy Shores as a city. It's more like a desert. You know, there's certain things in Sandy Shores, but there's not much. Really, you have California's major cities, and then that's it. So it is pretty cool to go around in the city of Los Santos, but apart from that, you're never really using 80% of the map. GTA 6, well, look at the size of GTA 6. It's actually insane just how big the map is going to be. It is legitimately 3 times larger than the GTA 5 map, probably 3.5 times larger, which is wild. It is absolutely wild. And we can see, obviously we have Los Santos here. Just looking at Los Santos versus Vice City, the size of Vice City alone is almost the size of like GTA 6 or GTA 5's map. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, we got a lot working with us here. Now we can see on the side some of the speculation and everything's like that. So we can see building names written in yellow are in-game names. Location names written in purple are in-game names where the location is still speculative. Location names written in red are IRL or unknown speculative names. And then green is like guaranteed. So that's what that means. So we can see speculation red, and then basically any other color is pretty confirmed. So there's a lot of red, obviously, but there's also a lot of green and a lot of yellow, which is pretty dang sick. And what we're going to do is we're going to cross-reference as well. So obviously Vice City is going to be the major city. But what's cool about GTA 6 is it's not going to be the only city. We also have Port Gellhorn, which is appearing to have its own airport. It's going to have its own buildings. There's probably going to be structures around Port Gellhorn that we haven't seen yet, which is going to be pretty dang sick. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with Port Gellhorn. Obviously, we don't know too much about the outer skirts of the GTA 6 map yet. But there's most likely going to be roads. There's going to be certain areas that come back here, which is going to be pretty dang sick. But man, Vice City looks so freaking cool. And we can actually see Vice City here. So we got a little photo here. We can see the beaches. We can see some of the flat areas where the bridge comes across. So most likely, this is Pelican Harbor here that we can see coming across. It's either Pelican Harbor or Ferry Island, but judging that this is in red, I'm going to make the assumption that we were looking at either Pelican Harbor or Venetian Islands. But either way, that's what we're looking at with that bridge there that crosses over. We can see another bridge here that crosses over with a little cluster of lands. That's probably this here. Either way, pretty dang sick that we can already see a bit of the map. We can scroll a little bit more as well. And we can see, obviously, the Vice City sign. We can see a photo here. This is a little spa, and it overlooks the ocean. And judging that this is the actual ocean, this spa is most likely somewhere over here. It's one of these buildings looking off into South Beach, which is pretty dang cool. Pretty epic. We can take a look at some more photos here of Vice City. We've got this photo. This is definitely the inner areas of Vice City. We can see some of the water here, so there's definitely a dock, most likely boating areas there. We've got some more water off in the background here, and the city's more towards the left of us. So if we actually take a look at a map here, we can definitely see that we're probably looking at maybe this area. This is maybe around this area here, because it's looking off in the distance, and you can see there's definitely structures and city in the background. So we're most likely looking at somewhere in this destination over here, and we're looking off past all of the buildings and everything like that, which is pretty sick. Not bad at all. Pretty cool to look at. We can see some other photos if we scroll a little bit through. We've got obviously the beach here. which we've seen some screenshots already of. We've got some of the nightlife, some of the cities, and then, oh, I didn't mean to click on that. And then we move over here, we can see a nighttime photo. This is the cargo port. We can obviously see what appears to be a cruise ship of some sort. We can see cargo ship containers over here. So what we are looking at there is Port VC. So we are looking from this direction out into Port VC. And realistically, what that means is that you are probably looking at about here. This is where you're looking, and you're looking off into the port, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty epic. Really, really cool stuff there. What else do we have? We've got one other photo, I think. Yes, we got this photo. This doesn't really show much, but it is still a very cool photo. We can see some new vehicles that are coming into the game, like this vehicle here. I don't think this is in the current version of the game. We have something similar, which is the Nagasaki Outlaw, but it's not the exact same thing. But really cool overall. Vice City looks pretty epic. This photo alone just makes Vice City look so darn cool. Super excited for it. Ah, there you go. We have found Leonida Keys. So this is all the way at the bottom. You know, we've got obviously Vice City here. And then this is kind of where like Boca Grande and the super, super rich people love to stay with their private islands and everything like that, which is pretty dang sick. So Leonida Keys. Let's take a look at the photos we got here. So this is kind of an overview of the keys, right? We can obviously see Vice City in the background. We can see some of the buildings back there. And then it cuts all the way across. We can see the bridges that come all the way over to the kind of rich people area here. So if we take a look, that is definitely the angle here. You're looking off from probably like this structure, and it cuts across all the way to Vice City, which is pretty dang epic. That's already just a great overview of Leonida Keys. We can see a little bit more here. So this is a great overview as well, right? We can see all of Vice City in the background. We can see the bridge that comes across. Pretty epic. We can take a look here. Fat woman on a freaking trolley. Honestly, that texture resolution on that iguana looks insane. We got a dog in the background. Move up a little bit more. We got the rusty anchor. Okay, maybe this isn't the rich area. Maybe this is the poor area. Oh my god, the underwater. I didn't actually see this photo. I haven't looked at all of them yet. This one looks sick, I gotta say. Underwater life looks epic. We can obviously see the same bridge as before. Some of the water life here looks pretty dang cool. Not too many photos of the Leonida Keys, but honestly, we don't need that many. We can already see what it's going to look like pretty easily, right? So we got the underwater research facility. That's most likely what we were looking at with this photo here. This is probably that underwater research facility. And then we have all the areas here. This is kind of like maybe the sandy shores of Vice City, you know, the whole map. I don't know. We'll have to see. I thought this was kind of the rich area, but I guess not. What appears to be, we have a speculation of an airstrip here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I have to say Leonida Keys looks really, really epic. I can't wait to try out this area. It still looks really, really cool. And honestly, the photos here just look great of like the whole map cut into place. Looks freaking epic. So moving up, what else do we have? Well, now we are going to take a look at, we gotta back out here a little bit. We're taking a look at the grass rivers. And the grass rivers are located right below Leonida. So you can see we got Leonida, and then right in front of it we have the grass rivers. So we got Alligator Creek, Flamingo Wildlife Institute, Flamingo Beach. This is where you're going to be in the hick country, I would assume. So we can take a look. There's not much in the grass rivers, of course, right? There's not much. Yeah, this is hick country. This is where you're farming. This reminds me of a Duck Dynasty. But we do still have some areas, as we can see, right? There's still civilization. There's still housing. This map here was a little bit before we had more information. So this is most likely where we have some of these structures here. And then it kind of cuts off into the Alligator Creek area, as we can see. But you definitely have structures in the water. So I would assume we got some structures over here as well. Looks pretty sweet though, honestly. This looks very, very cool. Once again, we can see some more industrialization off in the distance. We got some smokestacks. There's Vice City. So that looks absolutely epic. We got another photo here. This is the bogs, as we can see. We got a photo here, although, ooh, we got an alligator right there. That's pretty dang nasty. That's all we have though. Not too many from the wetlands, because let's be honest, there's not much to look at in the grasslands and the wetlands. We have Port Gellhorn. Now, Port Gellhorn is all the way over here. And this appears to be another somewhat sizable city. I don't know how big it's going to be, but it definitely looks to be somewhat sizable, right? We can see in this photo alone here, there's a lot of industrialization. There's a lot of, it's a port. So we obviously have the train station. We've got a lot of cargo ships that are going to be making their way here. So let's take a look at some of these photos of Port Gellhorn. We got the motel. We have not too much of a descriptive photo there. Honestly, Rockstar didn't give us many photos of Port Gellhorn. The only photo we really have of it is this one here. And this doesn't really show us much. You know, we've got a couple buildings. We can definitely see there's a lot of smoke billowing out. This is going to be a lot of factories. So maybe it's going to be more like gas and natural oil and gas reserves over here, kind of in these areas. It's going to kind of go around, as we can see. It goes all the way around the whole port. So we'll have to see more what a Port Gellhorn looks like, but looks pretty cool either way. Really excited to mess around with that. Next, we arrive to Ambrosia. Ambrosia, we got the American flag. Let's take a look at where Ambrosia is. Looks like it's just dead center, right? So we got kind of Lake Leonida here, which Ambrosia might be a little bit connected to, but yeah, Ambrosia's right in the center of the map. And let's take a look at what photos we have here of Ambrosia. So not too much of a descriptive photo there, but this one's a great photo of Ambrosia, right? We can see maybe this is part of that lake we were talking about, Lake Leonida. This might be right at the edge of what we're looking at here with Ambrosia. But there's still a lot of lights, as you can see. Like the GTA 5 map, if you're not in Los Santos, there's not much, you know, pollution, light pollution. But in GTA 6, we can clearly see that appears to be Vice City there. So most likely we're looking at like a corner here. Maybe this is the corner we're looking at, and then it cuts into Vice City. But yeah, we have a lot of lights, right? This still looks like a pretty developed area here. We've got buildings all over. We've got, you know, signs all over. We got a water tower. We got more industrial gas stuff like that. So there's definitely going to be, and I mean, you can see this lake is huge. Look at the size of that boat and that water there. Like, you don't realize how big this lake is. This is a big ass lake. So definitely something to keep in mind. We got some natural wildfires, it looks like. We got some farming out here, so you can definitely see this is more towards the farming country. But yeah, there's a lot in Ambrosia, or like Leonida and Ambrosia. So we can see Leonida and Ambrosia are kind of together. So this is Ambrosia, and then we got Lake Leonida. So they're going to mix together, which is pretty cool. And this lake is freaking huge. I mean, you don't realize the size of that lake until you take a look at the GTA 5 map. That lake is about double the size of the Alamo Sea. So it's a pretty freaking big lake, though. That's something to keep in mind. But yeah, Ambrosia looks pretty cool. And then we finish off with Mount Kalaga, which is over here. So again, more kind of the country areas, the redneck of Florida. Definitely looks very, very scenic, though. Very pretty. Let's take a look at what we got here. So we got some abandoned factories, it looks like. Maybe an abandoned coal mine. I don't know if there's coal mines, what it is, gas, whatever it is. We got some sort of abandoned mine here. We got a raccoon in the background. Pretty freaking epic. So obviously this is going to be a lot of dirt biking and very cool off-roading. We have a helicopter view, which definitely gives us a bit of a bridge in the background. So that's pretty sweet. Not too much to look at, but we do have some mountains. We do have some mountains, which is surprising. But we do have some mountains. And we can actually see a better view here of the mountains. Looks pretty epic, I have to say. This reminds me of Mexico almost, but it looks awesome. Looks like Forza Horizon 5. This looks amazing, so I'm really excited for that. Got some deer. Is that a panther? That is. We got a freaking panther. I was trying to see what that was there. I don't know what that is there. I wonder if we're going to have snakes in GTA 6. And the last photo we have is of a dude kayaking, and we got the train rail that cuts through. Obviously, we don't know where the train rail is, but it's probably going to cut through here, something like that. We're going to get more information as Trailer 3 ideally comes out at some point. But either way, it looks pretty sick, right? I'm really, really excited for everything GTA 6. You can see some more leaked ideas here, but we're going to have to see a lot more as more information comes out. But it's epic. That's all I can say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And as always, if you enjoyed content like this and you want to see more, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.